they added another quarterback. Bailey Zappe, old buddy from last year, started Week 18 against Baltimore, spent time here on the practice squad, and as the team's third quarterback last season, Mary Kay, he is back. So the Browns are now back up to 4 quarterbacks overall, 5 quarterbacks in the building. So they just keep adding guys.
So now they've got Joe, and then they've got the 2 rookies, Dillon Gabriel, who's the backup right now, and Shedeur Sanders, who's the number 3. And then you've got Bailey Zappe, who is here as a guy who has started and won games before. He's almost on a Kenny Pickett level.
The QB drama surrounding Shedeur Sanders is back in full force, and this time it's coming from the Cleveland Browns. The team has just signed Bailey Zappe, adding even more competition to an already crowded quarterback room. But what does this mean for Shedeur Sanders? While the Browns have made yet another move to bolster their quarterback depth, this signing isn't necessarily about finding a new starter or QB1. Instead, it seems like more of an emergency signing, a move to reduce the risk of losing crucial quarterback slots while keeping their options open without committing too heavily to a new face in the game.
I like the fact that they have him there. I think he'll be good in practice. He'll be good for some of those younger guys in helping them to prepare for a game and whatnot. And he's just also a really good guy.
The Browns brought in this quarterback primarily to assist the young quarterbacks throughout the season. According to Mary Kay Cabot, his role will be to help the quarterbacks prepare for upcoming matches and provide support in case of any injuries. Cabot also emphasized that he could be a valuable addition to the team. However, this move may also signal the possibility that Dillon Gabriel could be traded. There are reports circulating that the Browns are reportedly considering a move for Dillon Gabriel, as he's gaining interest from several NFL teams. With the recent trade of Kenny Pickett, all eyes are now on Gabriel, and whispers are growing that Shedeur Sanders might be just a few games away from securing a spot as the second-string quarterback in the NFL. If that happens, it could be a game-changing opportunity for Sanders.
I still think Kenny Pickett is potentially, number 2, unless they trade him, which I'm not going to rule out.
Mike Florio, a senior NFL analyst, has shared his thoughts on the ongoing debate within the Browns organization regarding the potential trade of Dillon Gabriel. He noted that such a move could leave the team in a tough position, limiting the competition at quarterback. However, Florio also pointed out that this could create a prime opportunity for Shedeur Sanders to step up and showcase his skills. With a chance to make a real impact, Sanders could position himself as a valuable asset for any team in need of a backup quarterback. The addition of Bailey Zappe further suggests that something is brewing in Dillon Gabriel's situation, which is why the Browns have made the move to bring in Zappe. Florio also pointed out that with Kenny Pickett's departure, the Browns might be more inclined to trade Gabriel. He emphasized that Sanders is essentially off-limits due to his large fan base, and trading him could spark major backlash. As discussions around this intensify, Florio believes that moving Sanders could lead to significant negative fallout. This is why Gabriel seems to be the more likely candidate for a trade as the Browns try to manage this situation while maintaining the support of their fan base.
This is one of the natural and foreseeable byproducts of drafting him. He comes to town with a built-in fan base. The mouth breathers, as you call them, are in tow. Not that I called them that, but you called them that.
Yeah,
they're there.
Yes, they
They're
are.
ready. It's like Tebow Mania.
Rich Eisen also weighed in on the situation in Cleveland, suggesting that if Dillon Gabriel is traded and Shedeur Sanders takes on the QB2 role, it wouldn't be long before Sanders becomes the starter later in the season. He pointed out that Zappe's signing could signal that Gabriel is nearing a trade. Eisen believes this shift would give Sanders the chance to solidify his place, and he's confident that Sanders is on track to eventually become the QB1 at some point during the year. The momentum is clearly shifting in Sanders' favor, putting him in a strong position to take control when the time comes.
Is Dillon Gabriel going to be like second quarter he's out there because Flacco just needs a minute in the blue tent?
Yeah, that feels likely.
And if it's Shedeur Sanders and he starts balling,
then what?
Everything changes in a
The
bat of an
season
eye.
Stephen A. Smith also highlighted Shedeur Sanders' consistent rise, noting the undeniable momentum he's gaining. He pointed out that even before the most recent preseason game, it was clear that Sanders had surpassed Dillon Gabriel on the depth chart. Smith mentioned that aside from a small setback last week, Sanders has remained undefeated, communicated well with his teammates, and is now fully focused on improving his skills. According to Smith, the Browns are well aware of Sanders' immense potential and are counting on him to continue growing into a more impactful and dominant player in the future. Stephen A. Smith also emphasized Shedeur Sanders' steady progress, highlighting the strong momentum he's been building. He noted that even before the latest preseason game, it was clear that Sanders had surpassed Dillon Gabriel on the depth chart. Smith acknowledged that, aside from a small setback last week, Sanders has remained undefeated, built strong communication with his teammates, and is now fully focused on refining his game. According to Smith, the Browns are well aware of Sanders' immense potential and are counting on him to continue developing into a more influential and dominant player moving forward.
So I think that when we look at it, he's going in there, he's working hard, he's trying to improve every day, he's saying all the right things, trying to elevate his level of play. And remember, up until this past weekend, we did think there was a legitimate argument that he should have been higher on the depth chart than Dillon Gabriel because he performed better against Carolina than Dillon Gabriel had performed in the preseason game against the Eagles. It's just that obviously he nosedived over this last week.
Stephen A. Smith's observations are on point, as Coach Kevin Stefanski has clearly changed his stance on Shedeur Sanders. Recently, Stefanski reaffirmed his strong commitment to developing Sanders, regardless of outside criticism. This shift is significant, especially considering that not long ago, Stefanski downplayed concerns and even offered unfair critiques of Sanders. However, with the trade of Kenny Pickett, the coach's perspective has shifted, bringing Sanders back into the spotlight and giving him a genuine chance to prove his worth. The timing of this change is crucial, signaling that Sanders now has a real opportunity to showcase his potential. Other analysts have weighed in on Shedeur Sanders' chances of securing the QB2 spot, with many highlighting Dillon Gabriel's size as a potential challenge for him to maintain that role long-term. Mike Tannenbaum praised Gabriel's strong preseason, noting his skill and composure. However, Tannenbaum pointed out that Gabriel's height could pose a major disadvantage in the NFL, which could make a trade more likely. While talent and technique are crucial, physical limitations such as size can present significant challenges, potentially costing Gabriel the QB2 role and paving the way for a trade.
As Hebo just reminded me, he's in third percentile in height. It's really hard to have sustained success in the NFL. Drew Brees is the obvious outlier when you are so short. So to me, it's a big risk. You go from 4 quarterbacks, which we've talked about all summer long, to literally for a 40-year-old quarterback to be backed up by a very unproven, very short by NFL standards third-round pick.
Yeah.
So
In conclusion, the quarterback situation in Cleveland is rapidly evolving, with Shedeur Sanders emerging as a key figure in the conversation. While the Browns have made moves to strengthen their quarterback depth, including signing Bailey Zappe, it's clear that Sanders has the potential to rise to the top. Analysts and insiders alike are starting to recognize Sanders' progress and growing momentum, with many believing he could eventually secure the QB2 spot and possibly even challenge for the starting role later in the season. The potential trade of Dillon Gabriel is adding more fuel to the fire, and with Coach Stefanski's shift in stance towards Sanders, the young quarterback now has a legitimate opportunity to prove his worth. While Gabriel's skill and preseason performance have earned praise, his physical limitations, particularly his size, could make it difficult for him to hold on to a long-term role in Cleveland. As the competition intensifies, Sanders stands poised to take full advantage of the opportunity before him. With the Browns clearly recognizing his potential, it's only a matter of time before we see Sanders make his mark on the NFL. If things continue to trend in his favor, this could be the season that propels him into a starting role. What do you think about Shedeur Sanders' chances of securing the QB2 spot in Cleveland? Do you believe he has what it takes to eventually become the starter? Or will the competition from players like Dillon Gabriel and Bailey Zappe prove to be too much? How do you feel about Gabriel's size potentially limiting his chances to stay with the team long-term? Will the Browns make a trade to clear up the quarterback situation, or could Sanders' rise force a change in their plans? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. We'd love to hear your opinions on what's shaping up to be a fascinating quarterback battle.